Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, little PSA, my voice might crack in and out a little bit because I was a little bit hoarse, but let's move on. Now, the creator had been communicating to me a lot of different things that we are to discuss, right? And although we, discuss balance or equilibrium and the different things that are required to maintain, we haven't really gone into balance itself, right? Like what it means to actually be balanced. What is balance? The pure definition, or a concept of it, right? In my mind's eye, he had showed me the yin and yang symbol. Now, of course, when you know or you look into it, you'll find out that this is a symbol related to ancient Chinese philosophy, right? The Tao, T-A-O, or the Tao, D-A-O religion, based out of the Chinese dynasty. Now, this symbol is recorded as being observed as early as the 3rd century BCE, right? Before Christ era, even predating, Chinese philosophy and the overall theory of Chinese medicine. Now, here we are looking at yin and yang as this symbol of balance, harmony, and peace, right? But when you look a little bit deeper into it, this symbol represents a way of nature. Now, all things in the universe exist in separable and contradictory forms, right? And like pairs of equal opposites that attract. This is the premise or the concept that yin and yang is built on. Now these are energies, right? With comparing and contrasting components, but I think it's important for us to get a better understanding first, right? So when you look at this symbol, obviously it's black and white. We know that it represents balance and peace and harmony. But when you take a closer look, the principles, right, in medicine, or the philosophy that the yin and yang concept is built on, then you're kind of forced to pay attention to the concepts and aspects not only of our personalities, but just the different forms of energy or contrasting factors that exist not only on earth and in the physical world, but in our bodies, in the spiritual world, and in the cosmos, right? So yin is considered the feminine energy. It's the black side of the circle. It represents cold, wet energy. It represents the moon, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, water, passiveness, winter, and it has a negative charge. So think of everything opposite of that for yang, right? We have it's the white side, it's the masculine energy, it's hot and dry, represents the sun, Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, fire, summer, is active energy and holds a positive charge. Now, obviously, when we're speaking of balance, we are speaking of things in equal parts, right? So if you get too much yang, this is like this rushing, overly active energy. And then when you get too much yin, it's like this passive, lazy energy, right? Now, there are different ideations or ideas, right? All things in life, yin and yang, can be used as a focal point to understand and describe it. And even when you refer to Chinese medicine, the concept that organs, biological functions, even the seasons hold energies that are connected to one or the other, even in food. So like food that supports or holds yin energy, right? That would be the female energy. So like your raw vegetables, your fruit, your juice, sugar, alcohol, and even drugs, legal or street, right? And then your yang is like your poultry, your fish, your eggs, salt, things like that. Now, I think it's important for us to keep in mind that one of the ways to see how different things complement each other so well is for them to be joined, right? They have to interact, or they have to be combined in some kind of way, right? And these different factors that are to be combined, they hold energy, but they also complement one another, right? So when you are looking at the yin and yang symbol, you should not only be thinking of harmony and balance, right? You should be thinking of nature itself, the divine order of things itself. Because this is a concept that basically says for everything that exists, right, it was created in a pair of an equal opposite. And we can see that in ourselves. This even speaks to masculine and feminine energy, right? That's the different aspects of our personalities, the seen and the unseen, the hidden and the exposed, testosterone and estrogen. What is that? Masculine and feminine energies, right? Now, the fundamental concept in Chinese medicine, that the symbol or the idea is based on is opposition, mutual consumption, interdependence, and intertransformation. And then when you look at the elements, metal, earth, wood, fire, and water are all required in this room and others in order for balance to be maintained. Now, this is where it started to get interesting, because I realized that many of the things in our lives are created in one way. So let's just say the Creator gives you a gift. There's always going to be something to counteract what it is that you possess, or what you're doing, or how you're moving, right? Because this represents ebb and flow, right? Harmony, not taking more than I'm giving or producing, not wanting more than I need, right? And learning how to understand that makes it pretty easy, or easier, right, to maintain whatever it is that you're doing, even when it comes to your physical body, right? Yin is related to the feminine side, the left side, and then the right side would be the masculine side, right? The right side. And this concept is just an overall idea that is related to what we know so far, what we can study. But the symbol itself, right, because it predates, Chinese tradition or the Tao religion, I think it deserves further investigation. But when the creator had showed me the symbol in my mind's eye, I had started doing research earlier, assuming we were going to resume to the periodic table. And then he's like, no, look this up, because I think it's important to not only have the harmony and the balance and everything, right, that is required to have a healthy, balanced, not only life, but a spirit, right? Because this is energy. This is where the spiritual component comes in, because, if this is energy, right, and it has a charge, and these two need to interact or be combined in order for us to see the conflicting or the opposing parts of it, right? This simply tells you that although things are different, not only are we required to have things different in order for it to be considered a natural part of life or the natural course of things, I think it's even deeper, or it should be even further realized that we have many different components or aspects of our realities too, right, that can come together, and they can provide you with the ultimate balance. Because remember, these are opposing concepts, opposing factors, things that were likely created or formed in different environments with different things in mind that hold different purposes. But when together, they allow the creation of something new to take form. And this just speaks to warfare, right? The heavens and the underworld, the spirits fighting, for the greater good. And this is further just examining how this hell has a heaven to counteract it. For every good angel, there's a jinn or a demon or a spirit coming to counteract. Too much of anything is bad, right? And we always discuss that. But when you look at this through the lens of different things coming together, a new purpose, could be conjured here. The idea of something new can come about. And before we go, not only can you do your own research on this symbol and just what it truly means to live in an environment where things have different functions and purposes, but when joined with something that is totally polarized from it, we get this equilibrium, this balance that we wouldn't have otherwise, right? So just because something is different doesn't mean that they don't belong together or they can't belong together. And I think that's the message right there. But I'm going to end it here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all are drinking your water, eating your fruit, and sipping on your own tea, because it is free. And I definitely hope y'all enjoyed y'all weekend. All right. Love y'all.